SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on this show are not the opinions of TeleSouth Communications, its management, or advertisers.
William Carey University Athletics.
Every sport you find exciting.
Crusader Talk.
Crusader Talk.
And now.
This is Crusader Talk. Crusader Talk. We're covering everything William Carey University Athletics. From the field to the court and the diamond on SuperTalk Hattiesburg 97.3 and SuperTalkHattiesburg.com.
And welcome, everyone, to Crusader Talk. Glad you're with us here on this Monday. Back live and in the studio. It is good to be with you. Caleb Hamill, Josh West, Dalton Stanford's behind the board. We've got clips galore to share with you as we had a weekend full of baseball and softball action. Josh was on the call for Carey's two doubleheaders of
and wins.
Lots of wins.
Lots of winning.
We love winning at William Carey. But I tell you, it's fun. It's fun to get wins. Carey men's, or in the baseball realm, get 2 out of 3 against Tennessee Southern. Man, talk about a fun weekend when it comes to baseball. All 3 games settled by 1 run.
Oh, it was incredible. And then the 2 softballs Saturday, 1 run.
Yeah.
And extras.
Which we knew Tennessee Southern was going to be a fun matchup for Carey, and it proved to be that with the Crusaders splitting that set. But altogether, fairly successful weekend. Carey's right back where they need to be from a baseball perspective. Bullpen was a little iffy throughout the weekend, but got the run support they needed to take down Tennessee Southern. Big matchup coming up this weekend against Loyola.
And you know what's the craziest optimistic thing of it all? Is that if you hang around Milton Wheeler or Joseph and Nancy Fell Field, you're going to see our volleyball team is healthy.
Hey! Yep.
all of their surgeries have gone well. Their rehab is going well, and they're gearing up for the fall, which will be here before we know it. So you're running into all the indoor volleyball players that are not active in beach. They're all healthy. So this is
That's
good.
Right.
This is good. Hope springs eternal.
That's right. Hey, speaking of things that'll be here before you know it. A tradition unlike any other. Hello, friends.
CBS Sports.
Alongside Josh West, Caleb Hamill with you. Just around the bend. Not only the Masters Championship, but also got an upcoming fundraiser and golf tournament for William Carey Soccer. Right?
And that can only mean one thing, that someone's in studio to talk about it.
Friend of the pod, Barry Farrell. Coach, welcome in. It just feels like the whole podcast is
turned ready to go golfing.
That's the only reason I came in tonight.
That's it.
Just to hear that.
Just for that.
That was it.
I'm ready to go play 9 right now. Let's go play 9.
Oh,
Dalton, you don't even play golf, and you're ready to go golf.
I do.
Do you play golf?
He plays golf. Okay.
So let's go golf.
All right. Well, it's settled then. Coach, first of all, glad to have you back. It's been a while. In the off season, no less. How's training been? We'll get into the golf in just a second, but how are things going?
Yeah, spring has been good. We've played a couple of games. We played this Friday against a now Division I team away.
That's crazy.
In our last spring scrimmage game, if you want to call it. So yeah, things are going really well. Boys are looking good, and a lot of returners, which was huge for us compared to previous 2-3 years. So definitely a lot to build on for this upcoming spring.
So tell us about what's coming up. Tell us about the golf tournament. What's the need to know? So
yeah, we're going into our 3rd annual golf fundraiser at Timberton Golf Club. So next Monday, from 8 o'clock, we'll host our men's soccer golf fundraiser. Our friends at Timberton have been great. We want to support them, through thick and thin. So we've decided to stay at Timberton Golf Club. Just talking to Josh, we've got about 16 teams already signed up. Sponsorship has been amazing. Just going through the last couple of things for next week. We still have 2 teams available for next Monday. So if you're interested in putting in a team, a 4-ball, it's going to be a scramble. If you want to play as an individual, we can definitely get you in and playing next Monday.
Yes, so that's Monday the 13th, and nobody wants to talk to you on a Monday morning anyway. So you come out and play golf, and then you go to lunch, and then you just catch up on work at 1 o'clock on Monday.
Well, the weather, if you look at the weather now, the weather looks amazing for all this week and next week. And it's the reason we've actually pushed it from March to April. I always feel April in Mississippi is the best weather and my favorite month. So, yeah, you can't beat golf, 78, 79 degrees.
We have a running joke at work about some of our different coworkers that have screened-in back porches. And they say it's great 2 months out of the year, October and April. Yeah. It's about the only time you can use it. Same with just good weather of golfing when it comes to Mississippi. So next Monday, 2 more teams left as far as slots to be able to be filled. And get it while the getting's good. If you're listening to us live, you got a leg up on the folks that listen to it on Tuesday morning. But this is a wonderful opportunity to, one, just go out and have fun, but 2, support a worthy cause in helping support William Carey's men's soccer team and all the different international students that come in, all the different people that get to see and live an American dream, an American lifestyle, a chance to play soccer at a collegiate level, all the different things. It's a wonderful opportunity. Now, what's your favorite part about this golf tournament each and every year? I know we're a couple years deep into it now, kind of finally finding our footing of what's kind of normal and expected.
You said it there, just supporting. Like we've done a great job as well. William Carey Athletics has done a great job over the last couple of years supporting these different golf tournaments around the community as well. It wasn't always like that. I would never see a William Carey Athletics sign at any of the golf tournaments, and you got to give credit to Dr. Burnett and his staff, because it's everywhere now. So just giving back to the community, because when we go and play these tournaments, they're like, oh, men's soccer or William Carey Athletics, when is your tournament? So just helping out different businesses, local businesses. Like I just like to go back to Timberton, and I know it's had its struggles over the years, but it's us supporting a local golf course, a local business. So you just get to see a lot of interesting people as well. And I'm sure when they come out and they see men's soccer players from all around the world, it's something they didn't have before.
But it's no secret that when you step onto the grounds at Timberton, all it takes is a little more volume, a few more rounds, and some dollars, and it just takes a little more of fertilizer and a little bit more, maintenance, and that takes money to get it back to where it was. Yeah. I mean, in peak season, it gets into very good shape, as with so many courses here in this area. But Timberton, when it opened, it was elite. Yeah. It is an elite layout. It's very similar to some of the holes remind me of a Hattiesburg Country Club, of a Canebrake, of things of that nature. It was an original. It was before a Canebrake. It was kind of the standard for a while.
They have the landscape.
Absolutely.
When we go out there and talk to Jeff Mixon always, and he's like, man, just like what you said, a little bit of work here in terms of the landscape, the housing, the lakes they have there. It's made for a really good golf course. So yeah, no, it's getting back on track, and like you said, we want to support that.
And Carey does a lot to try to partner with them. A lot more things at Carey. Carey has a kind of a vested interest to see Timberton be the best it can be.
Yeah, Timberton and like you said, many other organizations, YMCA. I mean, it's right down the Timberton, YMCA. They're right down the road from us at William Carey. So when we go play these, we play these tournaments. William Carey sponsor these events, and I like it because it's just giving back to the community and helping each other out.
Now, when it comes to golf, we've all talked in here before about your trip out to Ireland to bring the guys out that are involved in William Carey Athletics to see some of the different courses and get to experience all that. My father, and my mother for that matter, are going out to Ireland this week, as a matter of fact. I think Dad has already lined up 3 different golf trips, so he's already figured out all that. But what are some of the POIs of maybe food that they need to think about whenever they're out in the countryside?
Well, you're going to get that traditional Irish breakfast in the morning.
To.
You've got it. That's the first thing you've kind of like. I still look forward to it when I have a chance to go back. So you're going to get that traditional Irish breakfast, which can be unique for someone from Louisiana, Mississippi, the south of this country, Alabama. So you're going to have that white black pudding, bacon, sausage, baked beans, beans on toast kind of thing, scrambled egg. It's all there on a plate. So you're going to experience that in the morning time. Different dishes. Like when we went over there, Tracy was big into the fish, fish and chips, like traditional fish and chips, cod, which was amazing as well. But you can get the lamb in Ireland is amazing.
Ooh, okay.
So,
I have to tell them to keep their eyes out for that. All right, before we run out of time, quickly, who's your ace in the hole for the Masters this year?
outsider, of course, he's European, from Sweden, Ludwig
Oberg.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
He did well at the weekend. Last two Masters, he finished second to Scheffler in 24, and he finished, I believe, 7th last year, and he finished top 5 this weekend. So that's my pick.
That's it. That's the pick of Barry Farrell, head men's soccer coach at William Carey. Coming up next, we're going to continue to break down the weekend action of baseball and softball. You can have Barry stick around, talk with us as well. Stick with us. You're listening to Crusader Talk.
You're tuned in to Crusader Talk on SuperTalk Hattiesburg 97.3 and supertalkhattiesburg.com.
Well, a terrific weekend for us all. Not only did William Carey softball and baseball have winning records on the weekend, but also, too, we had a very important milestone, albeit a little bit later achieved than we wanted to initially. Coach Bobby Halford collected his 1,400th career win. Kind of buried the lead on that in the podcast today, but still, a feat nonetheless. For him, it's just another drop in the bucket, and he would tell you, well, if you play enough of these, eventually you hit a milestone like this, whatever, blah, 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 blah. If you coach for 41 years, la, 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 la. Think about this. I mean, he outlasts Coach Knight. That's the other fun little side bet that he wins at the current point in time. But think about it, too. Not only was he around for 1,400 wins as a head coach, he was around as a player, an assistant, an athletic director, all these different things, and then still has been solely the head coach for 41 seasons to accomplish 1,400 wins. Now 1,401 because they got the win, one of the two wins on Saturday as well. But dropped a midweek against LSUA, just a tough one there. Pitching kind of let them down in that one as well, and couldn't get the timely hits either. I think that was kind of the thing plaguing them from the weekend against Mobile. Just did not have clutch hitting. And that night, I went down to the dugout and just kind of hung out around the coaches, and we were all just chatting amongst ourselves. And one of the things they immediately said was, you got to move DJ Booth to the top of the lineup. You just have to. He's an RBI producer. He's the only guy that's hitting in the clutch right now. We got to move him to the top of the lineup. Traditional baseball motif would say, let's kind of keep them down towards second or third, get guys on base in front of him, people with good OBP, and then he can knock them home. The problem they kept running into is that their 8 or 9 spot of the order would get on base, and then you're down to your final out, and you're wanting to get DJ to the plate so he could bat him in, and you just can't get to him. They wanted to give him
one more AB.
They wanted
one more plate appearance.
They wanted him to have the most at bats out of everybody on the team, and you get that from the top of the lineup. And it paid dividends this weekend. And we'll break it down a little bit more for you coming up in just a little bit. But William Carey getting the win on Friday night with Matthew Davis, which let me go ahead and tell you about Matthew Davis. This is a guy that exits in, or goes to the dugout after, I want to say it was maybe the 7th inning, and already had 100 pitches. And she's like, okay, this is it. Davis is done. 9-inning game. You're going to go to the bullpen to finish out the final 2. He comes out for the 8th, and he pitches the whole 8th inning. 121 pitches total, 10 strikeouts to just 2 walks. He does give up 3 runs, but that was all secondary. Jackson Halsey ends up getting the save in that one, and William Carey wins by the final of 6-5. Tennessee Southern got 2 late runs in that one to make it closer. and I think had the potential tying run at second, or may have been on base before all was said and done. But still, they get the win, and I got Coach Holford's immediate reaction after he clinched win number 1,400. Just want to get an instant reaction here. I know each milestone has its perks. Each one has its memorable finishes. This one a tight one today where Tennessee Southern tries to come back, but you hold off their comeback effort and win 6-5. Did it feel like this one was just really tough to get like some of the other ones, or was it just one of those where, hey, it just is the card you're dealt?
All the games lately have been like this because, offensively we jump out and score, and then we just kind of quit sometimes. So, but that's the way it is in the conference this year. It's all the way up and down. Anybody can beat anybody, and I got to give those guys credit for hanging in there. We had a couple of chances really to blow the game open. We didn't do it, and so when that happened, it let them back in the game. But I was proud of Halsey coming in there, and of course Matthew pitched great. That's the longest he's thrown for us, and he got better as the game went on. But we had to win this game. I mean, we've lost 3 straight, and so that was the biggest thing is just breaking a 3-game losing streak.
And Coach, only 17 other collegiate baseball coaches have ever reached the milestone of 1,400 and above for career wins. You passed Ron Polk last year. I know there are a lot of milestones that feel big, like the 1,000th win and the win last year where you surpassed Polk. But, yeah, is it just another feather in your cap and it's just another day at the ballpark, or does this one kind of feel a little bit special with how long you've been around?
I really don't think about it that way. I think every game is its own thing, and I think each game is you try to go out there and play and win that ball game, and just the next game up. And I don't want to discount this. And of course, I feel just super blessed that Lord has allowed me to do this, and still at this time, of my life and that type thing. And then being around these people, and there's so many people here that have contributed, and so many coaches that have worked with me and that type thing. And of course the players, I mean, you can't do without those guys. But the challenge each day to go out there and do what we did tonight, that's what you do.
So Coach Bobby Halford talking with us after that 1,400th career win, which was on Friday night, got Cary a 1-game lead in the series over Tennessee Southern. End up closing out with a victory in walk-off fashion. We'll get to that in just a little bit too. But Barry Farrell, men's soccer coach, still with us here in the studio. Barry, you've been around Coach for a while. Mm-hmm. You've gotten to see him from a distance, of seeing him in action and just seeing his commitment to William Carey. It's pretty unique to see that at a university of William Carey's size, and just to see somebody that has stuck around for that long and has had such success.
He's one of those pillars of William Carey athletics. You talk about Coach Steve Knight, you talk about Tracy English, you talk about Bobby Halford, and we talk about the pillars of Carey athletics, and he's been that, and he still is. What I admire is that he still has that hunger, that desire. He's not slowing down. He's still very young. It doesn't. And I don't know what age Coach Halford is, but, just that hunger, desire to keep going. And he breaks records every year, and it's 1,300, 1,400, I'm sure it'll be 1,500 before we know it. I would love to see baseball, like that one thing left is that national championship, and I'd love to see, in the next 4 or 5 years, us William Carey baseball finish that off. I think that's the one thing. If you probably ask Coach Halford, that one thing, he's been Coach of the Year, NAI Coach of the Year, he's won all the awards, but they've got a great support, they've got great facilities, great fan base. Obviously me as a coach, we want to win it at men's soccer, but I think baseball have everything in place to compete and win a national championship.
Yeah. Do you ever get intimidated, Caleb? I'm going to throw a question back at you. Do you ever get intimidated when you try to ask him a baseball question? Because I was listening to that interview going, oh, man, this guy has just been around so much baseball. There's no question you can ask him he hasn't heard. There's almost nothing he hasn't accomplished. Yet he just loves the nuance of the game. He loves how fresh it is every day and how unique it is every day. But are you intimidated sometimes when you're asking him a question?
It's easy to, but I will say Coach Halford and I have gotten to be such good friends over the last couple of years that it makes it a lot easier. In fact, it's funny that I go down into the bullpen, or excuse me, into the dugout after game one of the doubleheader on Saturday, and Franklin Hernandez, one of the newer players for William Carey, a freshman that became eligible about halfway through the beginning part of the season, and he rolled into 2 double plays as the designated hitter. And we're just sitting there in the dugout talking about the lineup, and the first 3 or 4 had been settled. They were not going to change because they were actually good at production in game one. And then it got to Hernandez spot in the lineup, and we're just like, what do you do right here? And he's like asking me my opinion. I'm like, well, I don't think you can put Hernandez in there straight off of what he just did against this other guy. And I suggested a replacement, where to put him in the lineup, and strangely enough, he went with it. Did it pay off? Not really, because later on in the game, I think he checked in Hernandez back into that DH spot and he got on base. But nevertheless, we're comfortable with each other to the fact that we're talking strategy left and right. We recognize similar things to different guys, and so we have a baseball mind about ourselves that we can bounce off different things off each other. But I will say, he has seen and experienced way more baseball than I could ever dream of. But I tell you, his coaching came through in the clutch. You mentioned that DJ Booth move to put him at the top of the lineup. That's exactly how Carey was able to win that series. In the 9th inning, starts off with Gage Hennett getting hit by a pitch. Weston Wales, who had come in to check in to run in an earlier inning trying to get that go-ahead run on, ends up not scoring. He stays in to bat. He gets a single and puts 2 on for Carey with nobody out. McLean nearly grounds into a double play to erase both himself and Gage Hennett at third. Instead, they just get Hennett the lead runner. Wales is stuck at second base, but ends up going to third because of the botched double play. They didn't get McLean out. He goes first to third because the ball had trickled away. And then DJ Booth's up at the plate with 1 out, and he's able to get the game winner. I mean, it's just incredible how it was able to be done.
1-2 to Booth. Swings, and that's a fly ball hit towards right field, and that is fair. Carey walks it off. DJ Booth delivers. And the Crusaders win by the final score of 4-3 and take the series.
How about that? Got a series win over Tennessee Southern to cap off a nice weekend of Coach Bobby Halford, win number 1,401. Thanks to a big roster move of putting DJ Booth at the top of the lineup. When we come back, we'll talk about softball in just a bit, as they had a pretty successful weekend too. Caleb Hamill, Josh West, Dalton Stanford, and Coach Barry Farrell with you here on a Monday. Stay with us.
Talking everything William Carey University athletics. This is Crusader Talk on SuperTalk Hattiesburg 97.3 and SuperTalkHattiesburg.com.
All right, third segment with you here on Crusader Talk. Going to turn our attention to softball. Before we do that, just a quick look at the standings for us all, with the men taking 2 out of 3 against Tennessee Southern. Loyola, who was in a tie with William Carey at the top of the league, they were able to sweep Bruton Parker. No surprises there. Really had their way with the Barons on the weekend set. So they are a game ahead of William Carey. But Thomas, also a future opponent of Carey's on the year, still to play them. Tied with the Crusaders 12-6 in the league. A game back of Carey at 11-7. That would be 2 games back of Loyola in the lead. And then Tennessee Southern, who Carey defeats on the weekend, are 3 games back from the league title right now. So that's kind of the race to the top right now for us all in the SSAC. Meanwhile, softball, with their 3-1 record on the weekend, are right there in the mix, tied in first with Mobile, both teams with 12-2 records. Carey with a better overall win percentage, but Mobile and Carey, top of the league. 2 games back, it's Tennessee Southern, and then Blue Mountain a distant third at 7-7. But on the weekend, it was one full of antics and a lot of fun. And, Josh, you had a walk-off moment of your own in that game 1 against Tennessee Southern. What inning did y'all make it to?
We made it to the bottom of the 9th.
Bottom of the 9th. So at that point, you had runners at, I want to say, first and second,
Well, but then it went second and third.
Yes, then it got to second and third.
You basically give up second base because the only runner that mattered was Kinley Hogue at third.
That's
in
right.
a tie game at 1 in the bottom of the ninth.
So who's at the plate?
You've actually got Dupree at the plate. And
Okay.
and the call was, as you're going to hear, the call was you're going on contact. If it's not to third, you're going on contact.
Because there's less than 2 outs. The force out would not have erased the run that comes in. So you have to get the runner out at home, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So this ends up, if you're a statistics person, being ruled as a walk-off fielder's choice.
Yes.
Whatever you want to call it. It's a walk-off win. So here's how it sounded there on Saturday.
Hogue's the one that matters. 1-2. Dupree puts it in play to short. Going to force the issue. And the slide is safe. Hogue slides in out of the tag. Carey wins. What a...
Well, I prematurely cut that one off. Sorry about that. What a slide by Kinley Hogue, I think is what you were about to say.
That was where
right
it was
there.
going. And it was. She didn't realize how softly it was hit. A. B, and you're going to hear all this, how close that the entire infield was drawn in with only 1 out.
Yeah.
She went in. She's like, maybe hindsight 2020, I shouldn't have gone. But she was going. She is electric on the base pass.
Yeah. Here was Kinley on the slide that it took to win.
Take us back through that play. Take us back through the play at third, kind of the pre-pitch discussions as to when you were coming home on contact.
Yes.
So just kind of set us up what the discussion was. You were messing with your mom a little bit. Messing with the third base coach. Take us back through that.
Hey, you weren't looking.
Yeah, so take us back through that discussion, and then the obviously when you were safe, the celebration that ensued, the moments after. Just take us back through it all.
Yeah, well, throughout the day, it was a lot of fun running the bases, and so I kind of figured them out, I feel like. I was able to, in some situations, take a couple extra bases in a couple different ways, and so I knew as long as you kept them on their toes, or kept them off their toes, that it was going to be all right. Really, as long as it wasn't coming to third baseman, I was going. I didn't care where that ball was hit. I mean, third baseman and pitcher, but as soon as I saw a ball on the ground, I was just sitting, I was trusting it. Me and Coach Hogue had talked, the pitcher was not paying attention a lot, and I was like, do I need to try to steal home? She said, no, we're not going to steal home. But I'm grateful that she supports aggressive base running, has taught it my whole life, and so it was fun to be able to use the skills that we've taught and we've learned all these years in a big way. And then, just sliding in. I knew Harper was going to get the job done. I could just feel it. The dugout was crazy going into that inning. Everything was just kind of falling into play, and so I knew we were going to win that game. I was just going to do whatever I could to help us win that game. So.
And the celebration that ensued?
Yes. Oh, it was awesome. It was just we had a great crowd here. Dugout once again went crazy, and then we just fought hard that whole game, stayed with it, and so I was glad that our success, or our fight, ended in success and was able to celebrate with everybody. Jaden pitched a great game. Everybody did their job in the times we needed, and that's what made the celebration even sweeter.
We haven't even played her mom's comments after, but I can already hear that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. I could close my eyes. I'm like, that's a younger Wendy Hogue talking right now into that microphone. But fantastic stuff, man. Proud for her and all she went through on this season. Just coming out from years past to now be a part of some wins and some key moments and getting to use those wheels.
Well, let's quickly, for time's sake, we got to hear from Wendy, but I said this before the year. The last time that Wendy and Kinley were together, they won a championship. I'm just saying it's a winning combination.
Here's Coach Hogue on the 3-1 weekend.
Yeah, so we talked about maintaining going into the weekend. Definitely wish we were 4-0 right there. Had we maintained and stayed undefeated, had we gone 4-0, then we would have created some separation. However, we went into the weekend facing the number one team. Now we're going into this next weekend facing the number one team. I love the excitement. I love the challenge. I think the girls love that. I think they're going to be up for it this weekend.
Hey, that's what it's all about. All right, before we run out of time, Jaden Sawyer, SSAC Player of the Week, I believe it's Pitcher of the Week, maybe the official dubbing of her.
Fourth of the year, by the way.
Yep, well-deserved. Josh caught up with her earlier just to talk about, first of all, what it took of her coming to William Carey in the first place.
Yeah, I came from a JUCO near the area and everything. It was in Ellisville. Had a great 2 years there. And my head coach there and the head coach here, Coach Hogue, certainly know each other, very good friends. So I had expectations coming in with Coach Fletcher and everything, coming in, seeing them play, watching how they do things. And then we get a new head coach. So obviously some expectations, kind of change. What's the new standard? What am I going to be held to? What am I going to be asked of me? All things like that. And Coach Hogue has met every expectation I've ever had. She holds us to the standard that I've been held at for my 2 years in JUCO. And really just all around have had a great experience, exceeded everything I ever thought. We really, really click as a team. She did really good. Bonding us and everything. Coming in as a new head coach, it's hard sometimes when you already have a team that's used to doing one thing. And, she came in pretty late in the summer and everything. But no, we bonded really quickly, and she's done a great job at making us a team as a whole.
And then to be able to step into a moment like this past weekend against Tennessee Southern where the game goes extras and you go 160 pitches, that's a rarity. But that game, as we were talking before we began the interview, that was a first in your career. That's a special game that takes a lot of preparation to be ready for a moment like that.
No, it certainly is. 160 pitches is definitely something I've never done before. I've come pretty close, maybe an 8-inning game or something, but 9 innings against a really, really good hitting team that, takes me to deep counts or, I draw some walks. Some things don't go our way. Throwing those 160 pitches is certainly tough on the body. I threw the day before. I threw that Thursday before we played on Friday. I threw around 100 pitches then, so a little fatigue and soreness, in my body and everything. But, no, getting out there and still being able to maintain those 9 innings is something I would hope I could do, but it wasn't something I was sure I could do, and I'm very glad that I could, show up and show out for my team there.
And Jaden, for you, there's a consistency that has to show up every day, from the mindset to the work ethic to the performance level that you and your teammates have been putting out there. Just the day to day to be a Crusader softball player. And you talk about the mindset that Coach Fletcher, Coach Brister, and Coach Hogue bring to the table. But that's something that is every day.
It is. These are definitely things that need to happen, within yourself and everything. And having such a great defense behind me gives me some sort of comfort out there on the mound. I don't feel like I'm on an island. Sometimes as a pitcher, you feel like you're on an island and maybe your team's not behind you and they're not going to protect you out there. But my teammates, my outfield just absolutely amazing. Our defense is amazing. I trust my catcher with everything in me. So it's really good to have these connections, knowing that if something doesn't go my way, I have them right there to keep us afloat.
With expectations can come pressure if you let it. So how do you and your teammates drown out the noise, good or bad? A lot of it can be the pats on the back and where you think you've arrived when you know you haven't, when you know they didn't notice this and they didn't realize that I did this, but I was meant to do this. The standard that the coaches have set, the fans don't, the media doesn't. So good and bad noise. How do y'all stay laser focused?
Our team is very good at calling a timeout when it's needed, not letting the pressure get to us. At practice, we're put in pressure situations all the time to hopefully it becomes familiarized when we're out there on the field in a situation against someone that's not us. So being put in those situations really does help. But Coach Hogue does a really good job of drowning out the noise. At some point, she's all you hear. You have to be really, really good at drowning everything out and only hearing the positive. And sometimes that doesn't go your way. Some fans really do get to you and everything. But having a team that knows when to call a timeout and say, hey, my left fielder came in and talked to me the other day when I was in a struggle. That's not something you see. You don't see the left fielder come all the way in. The outfield stays to the outfield and we stay to the infield. But she came up and she talked to me. I played my 2 years with her at Jones, so she knows me like the back of her hand. And her being able to come and comfort me really does help, knowing that she does have me and I have her. We're really, really good at knowing when to calm the situation down. We try not to let ourselves get too amped up. So it is definitely a mindset thing, making sure that we're not, overly worked, calm your mind down before. We don't want to let anything snowball. We talk about it all the time in practice. But being put in those situations in a calmer setting does seem to help when you're in a pressure situation like we were in the other day against UT Southern when we had bases loaded, nobody out. That's a really tough situation to work out of, especially when, they have all the energy and we might not have any at that point. And our dugout does a great job staying up, making sure we try to keep the momentum on our side. Even when it's taken away, we always manage to gain control again. And that's really helpful as a pitcher.
In closing, you start off this very difficult ending stretch of the year against so many ranked teams and a team in Blue Mountain that was receiving votes as recently as a week ago. So you look at so many teams that are at 25-plus wins. You've got 8 of those, including a couple of games against Stillman left, and it starts with Mobile this weekend, a Rams team that is ranked ahead of William Carey in the polls. What a great opportunity to have the two teams again tied atop the lead standings, just as you were going into last weekend. You're right there year, and you have an opportunity to go and pull out in front with only a couple of weeks left in the season.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited for this weekend. I know that me and my teammates love a pressure situation. We like when things are tough because that's when the most energy comes out, and I think we have more energy than most of the teams we play, and I think that's where we, draw out a lot of our bigger wins earlier in the season. Like, we can make energy out of nothing, and that's another good thing about being as bonded as we are, is we know each other so well, and we can maintain our energy and stay super hyped up in moments that maybe don't need to be hyped up, but that's how you win a game. Energy does a lot for another team. You always want to intimidate your opponents, and it's pretty cool being from Mobile. I know a lot of the players on Mobile, and I'm very excited to, see them, how they're competing in college and everything, and no, I mean, I'm very excited to see how this weekend goes. I know it's going to be tough, but I would much rather play a tough game than an easy game.
All right, that was Jaden Sawyer joining us on Crusader Talk. We will recap a little bit of that interview, but also we've got to talk about some golf, big moment for tennis coming up, and also some big things for Cary Athletics as a whole. News was dropped over the past week about this. We will tell you on the pod coming up next as you're listening to Crusader Talk.
From the coaches to the student athletes and the fans that cheer them on. You're listening to Crusader Talk on SuperTalk Hattiesburg 97.3 and SuperTalkHattiesburg.com.
All right, final segment with you here on Crusader Talk. Glad you're with us here on a Monday. Caleb Hamill, Josh West, Barry Farrell have been hanging out with us as well, with Dalton Stanford behind the board. Big things coming up this week. Obviously, mentioned baseball. They have a big road test coming up at Loyola. Meanwhile, softball with another big test as well. This is for basically the catbird seat of the SSAC. They take on Mobile at home Friday in a twin bill, and then follow that up with, I guess, nothing on Saturday. It's just that matchup, just Mobile on Saturday. But baseball all weekend against Loyola on the road. But this is a big one. Tennis, heads up here. Get ready for tennis on Wednesday. They are taking on Loyola with a chance to win the SSAC regular season title, both men and women, as they will take on the Wolfpack at home Wednesday. You can come out and support the team. It'll be at 2 o'clock. At least that's what the schedule has for us right now on campus. So if you want to be a part of that and have a chance to see the SSAC regular season champion crowned, you could do that possibly if William Cary's able to win that one on Wednesday. But as I said, big test for baseball this weekend, a chance to really make your name known at the top of the league if you're able to take 2 out of 3 against Loyola. It would put you in a tie with the Wolfpack, but you would hold the tiebreaker over them at that point. And then depending on whatever else happens in the SSAC, you've got a couple other tiebreakers to possibly field. But big opportunity. Also, big news in golf.
Big news in golf. So if you weren't keeping up with what the Lady Crusaders have been doing, having a fantastic year, highly ranked, just erased a 10-shot deficit to earn a share of the tournament title at the 54-hole Lady Roadrunner Spring Invitational. Now, if you know about women's golf, you know Dalton State is also one of the premier programs. So Cary erases that 10-shot deficit in a top 25 packed leaderboard, finished tied with fourth-ranked SCAD, and also tournament host and second-ranked Dalton State. So what a way to go into this final run. So that means that the Lady Crusaders close out the spring season with an unblemished overall record of 30-0-2. So in all of their tournaments, nobody finished ahead of them in a tournament. And so they return to action April 20th through 22nd at the SSAC Conference Championship. That's going to be hosted at the Robert Trent Jones Cambrian Ridge in Greenville, Alabama. So
hopefully they place the holes right. Hopefully they place the holes not in challenging spots.
Yeah, not that pin placement from last year.
That's
right.
And
that was the one at Nationals, right?
Oh, maybe it was Nationals.
That was
You're
Nationals.
Right. It wasn't
So
SSAC.
let's hope they don't have a pin placement like that to wipe out the entire field on one hole.
I just don't understand how I'm supposed to. Anyway, other big things. Tease this going into the break. Big news coming out of William Carey higher up things is the university has partnered with Athletic Solutions for NIL and team stores. So this is going to be a whole brought together in-house thing. I say in-house, one place destination for team apparel. If you want to be geared up in the latest Crusader swag, all that can be found on the Carey Athletics website. Links are available there. But also you have the opportunity through basically the NIL locker room to get a chance to have jerseys or apparel with name, images, or likenesses of different Carey players, and that will directly benefit the athlete at which you are branding your apparel. So an opportunity for the athletes to make some money by you supporting Carey Athletics and picking up a jersey with their number or their name on it.
Yeah, I love it. I love that because that's truly what NIL was supposed to be. I kind of remember when it all started, you had players saying, hey, wait a minute. How come my jersey's for sale in the bookstore and I don't get a penny from that?
Or people can choose, I want the number 9 and, what's your name? Well, I want the last name Booth to be on it. Or so, just you pick the player of your liking, just like, it's just what I chose, It's not something that they had off the rack, but it's something you can make custom.
Yes. So I like that. I think that's truly what, to me, was one of the things that NIL, name, image, likeness, started for. Exactly
right. That. Great opportunity there. Also, did you see the news out of I know it's the Division II thing, but Coach alluded to it just a little bit ago, that West Florida is making the jump up to D1? Going to join the ASUN?
Well, it's laying out a roadmap, isn't it?
One less football school in the GSC in Division II, the conference of which Mississippi College is a part of.
Which means that's only a domino effect that league's going to end up dropping football.
I mean, unless they just have some Pac-12 ability in them to say, we're just going to take all these other random schools and keep it alive. I don't see them keeping football much longer as a requirement. Not to say that this is something that has been told by us, by an athletics administration or anything, that William Carey is seeking this out. But from an outsider's perspective looking in, from a regional look, that's a pretty good league. Delta State, Mississippi College, West Alabama,
Auburn, Montgomery, Huntsville.
I think Spring Hill, are they in there as well?
I think so. One more thing, one more order of business. William Carey Archery competed in Vegas.
Yes.
Second in the collegiate competition, with several of the archers earning individual awards. You can see the whole story at CareyAthletics.com.
That's great stuff. All right. Also, didn't mention this, Tuesday baseball action against Southern University of New Orleans. They'll be here at Hattiesburg at Milton Wheeler Field. Be out there at 5 o'clock for first pitch. Don't miss it. It's your only chance to see baseball this week if you're going to stay around in Hattiesburg, so be a part of that. But for everybody helping make the broadcast possible tonight, Dalton Stanford behind the board, for Barry Farrell joining us, and my co-host Josh West, this is Caleb Hamill signing off, saying good night, God bless, and go Satyrs.
A SuperTalk Mississippi media production.